When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs. Toby, I have a question for you.
Please.
I know that you are a man of integrity, of what's the word? Intention. Yeah, I feel like you're a human that lives your life in an intentional way, and you've been on this planet long enough to form some strong opinions. So, if I were to say, what's one thing you're willing to put out there and say, I will die on this hill?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that would be?
Freedom. I think true freedom, true equality, and not just for a city or a state, and not just for a country.
For a segment.
Yeah, not just a segment. I'm talking the entire population. I'm talking the entire world. Yes, I think we should all be willing to die on that hill. I think there's enough.
Many
people,
have.
And maybe have. And thanks to all the people that have in the past, that's for sure.
I love that. That's good. I can't top that. So let's just jump in, because that's the name of regale the audience with our featured song, Toby.
Yes, today the song that we are going to focus on for this episode of Riffs on Riffs is Die on This Hill by Sienna. I hope I'm saying this right. Sienna Spiro?
That would be my guess, yeah.
Okay,
I haven't
Sienna
asked
Spiro.
her, but...
So, something tells me that even if I mispronounced her name, that we are going to have plenty of opportunity to learn her name and be able to pronounce it correctly in the future. Why do I say that? Because I think we got some fantastic talent on our hands. Riff Nation, I am so sorry for being a broken record. I am so sorry for saying this over and over and over again. But we are in the middle. We are in the midst, right? We're at the precipice, I feel, of a renaissance of singer-songwriters and musical excellence. I have been hesitant to say anything. I've just been trying to absorb it, but I have the feeling that we're there. We are here right now. And these songs that are coming out and these albums, these epic releases, and she is part of this movement, is just good. It's just good music. Now I say all of that, and watch I ask my partner if he liked it or not, and he say he didn't like it. That would be horrible. Joe, what did you think of this song? After all of that, what did you think about the song? No pressure.
You know I like this song.
I know you did. I know you do.
This is totally in my wheelhouse. And it's interesting, while you were talking about this renaissance, it occurred to me, I think part of it, not fully, but part of it is a reaction to AI. People want authentic things. People want real things. I'm going to just jump right into one of her quotes because I thought it was on point. She said, "My music is, for the most part, pretty stripped back. I love the humanness of music from back in the day." She didn't say back in the day, but that's our phrase. So old school listeners, raise a glass.
Raise a glass. You
Why
already
do
know
I
what to
not
do.
have a Joe Fashioned right now? Do you? Is that what's in that? I hope so.
No, it's coffee and bourbon, but we're good.
But, but back in the day, she says, you couldn't auto-tune. You couldn't punch in. I record everything in one take, and there's barely any chop-ins. All the instruments are recorded by people. You hear the little mistakes. You hear the breaks. You hear the rubbing from my dress. It's so personal. So, and you hear it. Like, one of the things that caught me on first listen, like a dedicated listen, was at the very end of the song where you hear her stop singing and just sigh. Like there's just a release. There's a human component to this woman who's poured her heart out into this track. And then they just let that be. And you just connect to that moment. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Yes, I love the song. I listened to the EP and so we're recording this on July 1st and her debut album essentially is coming out in 2 days. So this episode will be out by the time it dropped, but please go make sure. I know I'm going to cue it up because I've loved a lot of her stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, it's always a good thing to listen to the EP, and then, Spotify does its thing with the algorithm and says, well, hey, you should listen to this. And if you like that, then you should listen to this, And the first thing that it did as soon as it was done with the EP, was go to Olivia Dean. And then right after that, it went to Olivia Rodrigo, right? And I'm like, oh my God. It was just like, I immediately went home, and started buying stock at CVS in Kleenex, because I feel like these albums, if they don't move you emotionally, there's something wrong with you. You've got stuff to work out. Like this is some moving music. I'm very impressed. And here's the other thing. With AI, a lot of. Actually, I have a story about AI. Do not let me forget that. This
Making
is
a note right now. Okay.
This is timely, I feel. And I feel it's interesting because the way that she wrote this, and the way that this song actually came into be, was filled with mistakes, right? Mistakes were made, and it kind of led. Mistakes were made, and it kind of led to this beautiful song. And she almost made another mistake in making it not as stripped back as it was. So let me go back. Let's go back. Let's kind of unpack this out. So this song, the single was released back in October of 2025. It's the second single, I'm assuming, from her. This is from her EP that came out last year. And so it was recorded. It's 82 beats per minute, F minor, but the whole point of this song coming to be was she saw Benson Boone actually play Bohemian Rhapsody. I think he played it at Coachella. And she's like, oh man, that's cool. I wanna learn how to play that. And that's a typical thing that a lot of us musicians do. Like, oh man, that was dope. You know what, man? I think I'm gonna do that. I think I could do something different with it. It'll be fun. Let me learn it. So she's playing on the piano, and she can't play the piano all that well, but she's trying to hit the chords, and she found a chord progression, not the Bohemian Rhapsody, but found something different. It's like, oh, I like this. Let me hold on with this. Created the song like right from there. Like I think she finished it the next day. Here's the interesting thing. Was how long did it take for this final version to come to us? Joe, how long? 9 months.
9 versions, including a, amped up guitar version. So, you hit on a couple of interesting things there. One, to your point, all of us musicians have done this, where you hear something and you're like, I want to learn how to play it. Now, I've got 2 approaches to this. One, which is I actually want to learn to play it because I want to cover it or at least know it. Or sometimes I hear something and I just want the vibe. And so rather than actually learning the song, I will sit with my instrument and I will just try to figure it out on my own without having anything to reference back. Which is to me how you get to a new song without basically stealing. You're like, I'm inspired by this piece of music, Bohemian Rhapsody, whatever. I kind of want to do something like that. And oftentimes you end up somewhere way in left field that nobody's going to be able to connect the dots. But if you pay enough attention or you listen back, you're like, oh yeah, I can see I can hear the connection. So I think that's really, really cool. And I think the second piece of that is, man, it's so hard sometimes to let the song tell you what it wants. And how many times have you written a song, because you are multi-talented in a bunch of different genres. And you're like, this could be R&B. This could be hip hop. This could be straight pop. This could be kind of a stripped down folk song. Like this could be rock. Like this could go anywhere. And a lot of times the song it's like, it's playing coy. It's like, yeah, this could work, but it's not right.
No.
And that's how you get to 9 different versions.
Well, I heard she might actually have 9 recorded versions, but I heard she had a hundred versions, like according to the research. I mean, but regardless, 9 versions of a song is insane. That is insane. People, I want to let you know, recording the same song 9 times, right? All the ad libs, all of the music 9 times is taxing. And for this young lady, I would say even more taxing than it would be for others, because I think one thing that her and I probably share together, and this is where the comparisons stop, because she's ridiculously talented. And she's got nodules on her vocal cords, which kind of attribute to the raspiness. So she has to really, really be careful and really has a strict vocal regimen. She's got to be really, really careful, make sure she has vocal rest, because you don't know how things are going to be from day to day. So with that being the case, to record this song 9 times, oh my God, I mean, she even has a Silk Sonic type of vibe version of this. So, and I'm like, do it, girl. Because if you see her videos and the hairstyle that she's rocking in some of her videos, I'm like, yes, do it, please go.
Total 60s vibe.
Take it. Let's go. Take it. Do it.
So I have 2 artists that I think she is a combination of. If we're gonna not to do that because she's an original, and I don't
sure.
But
I want to hear it. Yeah.
Adele for sure. Like there's Adele vibe.
She's getting a lot of that.
I think she's different. But and it goes beyond just being a British singer. And then there's some Lana Del Rey. Like there's on that EP, that track Cyanide, which I love. To me, that is straight out of Lana's catalog. And when you combine those 2, you just get this. And I don't think there's a direct correlation at all, but there's a little like some sort of nod to an Amy Winehouse somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think she's an original artist, and I'm not trying to paint her as a stealing or whatever, but it's just sort of reminiscent, I guess, is from a style standpoint.
Well, she has stated that she has, when she was younger, her mom put her in front of the piano, and through that she has, grown to love Stevie Wonder and like Billy Joel, and that is, I think that kind of just says the whole thing. Like I get it. Like as soon as those 2 names came up like that, I knew it. Like to me that it makes a lot of sense. But it's like authentic, organic musicality first. It's a different type of vibe, and this is coming from a hip hop dude, right? And I just love music, period. I just love music. I mean, I think however you can get it out, I think you should get it out that way. But man, in the second half of this song, like the first half is just piano, and it's great. It's gorgeous. You get her what she's trying to say. And then the second half comes in, and the strings come in, and it's like, oh my God, you can't. What complaint could you possibly have? What complaint have you? And it's like, okay, you just want to be the hill that she's dying on. Like you want to be the hill that she's dying on. What are we going to do?
Yeah. So all the string arrangements, guy named Rob Moose, who's done a ton of work with, people like Bon Iver and Phoebe Bridgers and Taylor and all that. So, she certainly has got some amazing talent kind of working on this track. So let's back up a little bit. So full name is Sienna Spiro. And Toby, I knew that she was mature in her artisanship, but she's born 2 days before you.
I know.
September 28th, 2005.
We're both Come on.
So just a couple days older than you, and you can get that sense in in her music. But here's what I love. So her dad grew up listening to Sinatra and Etta James and Nina Simone and all that. So she's getting all of that. But then she's a huge Michael Jackson fan. And at age 10, she's getting bullied at school and she writes this track, Lady in the Mirror. And she still talks in interviews about that being a great song. And I'm like, when do we get to hear that track? Like,
That's
when do
awesome.
we get to hear 10-year-old Sienna talking about, like, what's that? And I think she said she sang it at the talent show, like, to the bullies. And I'm like, oh, man, that's a vibe. You go, girl.
Yeah.
But when if you're doing those kind of things at age 10, that's in your bones. Like it is who you are and what you want to do with your life. And so for her to kind of, take I guess, unfortunately at 16, she drops out and she finds some old producer who promises the moon and stars and it doesn't work and whatever. But she learned and kind of kept plugging away and doing the things. I don't know. I just think it's such a great story. Like the evolution of her learning how to write at a young age and then continue. I mean, she says it somewhere where she's like, I've written hundreds, if not thousands of songs, and recognizing that that's just part of the craft. Like in order to get to the good stuff, sometimes you have to do 9 versions. Sometimes you have to do 100 versions and knowing that most of them are going to be meh. And that's okay because you're putting the work in. And I mean, she's what, 21? Not even? Yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, holy cow, bright future.
But you know what though, she with all of that, she knows that she is. I mean, she's got some, as you mentioned, right? She's got Omar Fetty, Michael Pollack, and you got these people that are names in the industry. These people have tons of experience but with all that experience that those people have, she is the one they're focused on. She is she's the talent. You're the one. You're the only one that's going to be on stage and it's your song. But the beautiful thing about the story about this song, and I'm assuming like with the rest of her project, was that she was open to being coached. And her team told her, we got to scale this all back. We got to slow this down. I know you want to make it somewhere around 90 something or whatever, but we're going to slow this way down now. We're going to make it to 82 and we're going to strip this away. No drums, no nothing. And she hated it and actually sang the song with a little bit of attitude, which might be the reason for the sigh at the end, because she had a little bit of attitude. But I think that if I'm listening to the track and I had to listen to it, I listened to it like probably 3 times, at least 3 times just today. And I'm just watching her hit these notes and just belt them out and just, you just feel the pain and you feel it's like, oh my God, it's that stubborn love. It's that I'm not going anywhere, dude. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here.
I don't get that vibe actually. Well,
you don't get it, huh?
No, I get the opposite. It's kind of more of a, and maybe this is just Joe personalizing it.
Sure.
But she's got, so she said specifically about this song that she doesn't write a specific story. It's not a particular relationship. She kind of writes about experiences writ large. And so she says, this is more rather about a lifetime of stubbornness and showing up for the people that never did for me. And that's, when I was listening to it, that's kind of what I took away from it is, man, Tobe, how many times have you just invested in something or someone and they're not giving it back?
Yeah.
And you try and you die on the hill and because you're stubborn and you're like, I want this to work. And maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I need to lean in a little more. Maybe I need whatever. And then at some point, almost like that 10-year-old Sienna, you look at the lady or whatever in the mirror and you say, well, this isn't me. I probably shouldn't die on this hill because I'm just going to get buried here. And that doesn't work for me anymore. And for her to figure out that, if indeed that's what she meant, figure out that lesson at age 20. Phew, good for her, man. And then I think the other, because you've talked about it, we've talked about different kinds of singers. There's the stylists, there's the divas, there's the whatever. And sometimes it takes a while to work through that in order to land on, because, the other quote she said is, working with Omer is, he taught me the most about singing because I used to do all the riffs. I used to do the runs. I used to belt everything. I was trying to be Christina or somebody like that. And and she says, it was because I was trying to prove myself, because I actually didn't think I was a good singer. And so every chance I would get to go to oversing, I would do it. And it takes so much restraint and understanding and immersion into letting the song breathe and be. And that's just, again, not something that young people do. I mean, I still struggle with that. Like, no, it's okay. Just let it be this.
The song's got to build to something.
Yeah.
The song has to take you on a journey. It has to build to something. But it's the problem with us nowadays. We're in such a hurry with most things. You just microwave everything. We can't even let butter melt on the pan. We put it in the microwave first and then pour it on the pan. We are trying to just speed past everything.
Okay.
And it's I've had similar issues with singing. I've had similar people tell me, like, dude, slow down. It's all right. Don't do that riff just yet. Don't open with that riff, wait. Yeah. So, and that was the thing that struck me. It's like, because like I said, I've listened to the song several times. I listened to the entire EP. I know she can sing. I know it. There is no doubt in my mind. But for her to have the discipline to stay in the pocket and let the song, let me focus on the song as a whole and not just your voice, is great. Because the song, has there's a point to be made with the song. And there's other tracks on there that are really really pretty. Maybe You Stole the Show. Good Lord. You Stole the Show. And Dream Police. I was like, okay. And we're done. And we're done. So I'm with you. I'm looking forward to her release. And Riff Nation, I would say this. I think we just need to choose to be on the right side of history on this one. I think you need to choose to be on the right side of history. I'm calling it right now. Olivia Dean, vinyl worthy. Sienna, vinyl worthy. Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those albums. I think if it just continued, like, this was like the warning shot. She gave you what, 4 songs. She gave you 14 minutes. And I was like, I'm not done with my workout,
right.
But I'm emotionally worn out. And in Dream Police, she said, I sleep to see you. I almost slapped the person sitting next to me. Almost slapped him.
God, I wasn't sitting next to you.
I almost slapped him. Did you hear what she pointing to my headphones? Did you hear what she just said? She said that she loves this man that much that she goes to sleep to see him. Shut up.
Also,
get off your machine. Get off. You don't deserve
control.
Do
you have? Good for you for having that control over your dreams.
Oh, man. My God. I'm like, who? This is the Sandman talking to you. She's the Sandman. No, it's good stuff, man.
And I think what you're seeing, you started the show with referencing this. A lot of these young artists are, and I wonder if it's, people talk about the Beatles, for example. They did hundreds of shows before anybody knew their name. So they got in the reps. And I think the different version of that now is doing the talent shows, doing the TikToks, sitting, like, you get the reps. And so when you look at people like Somber, that dude can sing, but he's not showing that off on every track. Like some of his earlier stuff, you're like, oh, wow, he's got a voice. But now he's in service to the song, in restraint when he needs to be. Sienna's doing it. I feel like artists are mature beyond their years, maybe, in the way that they're approaching the music, which is I mean, Olivia, same thing. Like there's just a wisdom that belies their age, and it I don't know, it gives me hope for the youngins coming up behind us. Not that they're that young, but
No, I get it. But I think like another good example of that, I was about to say the same thing about reps, because I think when you have the instrumentation behind you and you are courting music on a different level. I think it's a different level of engagement. Not that you can't you can't know your machines that well and all
Sure.
of that stuff too, but it's a different level of maturity, I feel, when you have to play with others. I mean, when you have to understand, like, there were several different types of kids that went to school with you, but you could tell the kids that didn't have brothers and sisters. Like,
right.
That cat does not play well with others. That cat, he just don't. No offense. No, he's still a good dude. He just don't play well with others all the time. His patience might be a little waning, for that. And then the other cats, they have, 3 brothers, 2 brothers, 4 sisters, whatever.
They got the reps in.
It's different. It's a different thing. So, like, the artist that has been like my earworm, I don't think there's been a day that I haven't listened to her in the last like week and a half, is Jackie Evans.
Man, you are really, you were on that one.
I really love it. I really, really do. But she reminds me so much of, and they're different. They're very, very different. But she reminds me of like a Billy Joel type.
Sure.
Where she plays
very much so. I can totally hear that.
She plays the piano so ferociously when she has to. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't need a lot of other instruments to help her out. She could tell the whole story. So I'm reading it. I'm like, she reminds me of a dueling piano. Like she can play the piano, and she has that in her repertoire. So at shows, she can like, okay, what do you want me to play? And she's got it. And so I mean, that's in my mind when I heard her play, I'm like, oh, she's doing a lot on the piano, like a lot on it. And it's not just one song, like, oh, she just hooked up with this dude, this producer, he's cool, he's great at the piano. Like, that's okay, so that's just one song and everything else is whatever. Nope. It's consistent.
Yeah.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
Because
it's her.
Because it's her.
Well, so speaking of great piano players, Elton John. So Sienna tells the story how she's sitting on an airplane and she gets a call from a manager, and she's in some conversation. She keeps getting her phone blown up. She's like, I'm, talking to somebody else, whatever. Finally, she's like, what is going on? She's like, Elton John wants to talk to you. She's like, what? So yeah, Elton he's like, so imagine Elton John calls you up and says, hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to let you know that I think your work is really great.
You know what? Okay. I'll die on that hill. I'll die on that hill. You heard it here first. I die on that hill for sure.
So Toby, who is an artist that if they called you and said, man, I was listening to your track and wow. Like who?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all know Stevie Wonder would be like amazing.
Oh.
And I'd probably break down and start crying there. I wouldn't be able to walk. You have to get a wheelchair for me. Just like, Toby's going to need a wheelchair. He's going to need more than a moment. He's having a moment.
Also, he needed to take down a wall because his head won't fit through the door anymore.
Mean, my God, it's too late. Yeah, it's too late. It's too late. I would say that Leslie Odom would be another one.
Great one. Yeah.
I think the world of Alan Stone as well. Like these are the guys that I think like are just like, oh my God, and those are just the male artists. Olivia Dean, obviously, Adele, I think, for sure. I mean, there's several. Alicia Cara, I think that she's just
real good.
Like, I mean, just really good vocals. Like they can sing anywhere. Like it doesn't matter. Church, no church, street corner. They're going to sound good no matter what, true students of the craft.
Sure.
And, you gotta respect that. What about you? Who would you like to hear from?
Man, if Sting called me up and said,
high
praise. He's just a world-class musician, smart dude. I think he's a great lyricist and just a great songwriter. He's kind of done everything. And so, yeah, to get a phone call like that, like, hey, I heard your work and I thought it was whatever. I'd be like, okay.
You think that would generate a lot of buzz?
Toby. Toby.
Yes. Yes. I was wondering.
I cannot with you. I cannot. That's not a hill I want to die on. It's not.
That was wonderful.
You and your dad jokes.
That was wonderful. Oh, my heaven.
Okay. All right. Moving on. This episode of Rips on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
You can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffsonriffs.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
And so, getting back to Sienna and away from Toby's nonsense, I think, she had a collaboration with Sam Smith. And so to kind of run that gamut from Sam Smith to Elton John, that those kind of two generations of British, I don't know if Sam Smith's quite an icon yet, but
he's
probably
on his
close.
way. Yeah.
So again, we've talked about this in past episodes. Game recognizes game. But I think it's another step when an artist of Elton John's stature makes a point of saying, I heard this and I want to reach out. Because he's got no reason to do that, nothing to prove. He's not looking for anything other than to kind of pay it forward and give props where props are due. And that's some incredibly high praise. So there you go.
And trying to be on the right side of history.
And there it is.
I'm telling you, because, he don't have, like you say, you don't have to come out for nothing. You ain't got to talk to nobody. This dude's, he is royalty.
Yeah.
He is royalty, period. He is
Sir.
royalty.
He is literally Sir Elton John.
Like he is the dude. Everyone has heard him. Elton John songs for sure. And, so for him to do that, I think was amazing. So of course I went through some of her other songs that are not featured on this EP. And one song from the Devil Wears Prada 2 caught my ear. Is called Material Lover.
I didn't know she got a song on that soundtrack.
Yep.
Okay.
Fantastic. And I'm saying they really lean in onto the 60s, 70s type vibe, which, if you look at her dress, like her style of dress, and she's there. Olivia Dean is very similar. She's there too. I think Ray is kind of fluid with her styles in general. She could pull off whatever she wants.
Yes, please. Wait, what?
Yeah. Calm down. I just, Alan Stone, he's pulled off some weird outfits.
Yeah. He's got a vibe for sure.
He's got a vibe, dude. Yeah. He's got a vibe. I don't know, man. Like I said, it's kind of like how I opened up the pod. I have a really good feeling just about music in general. I got a really good vibe. And I remember I was going to want to tell you about this story.
Is this the AI story?
My God, yes.
All right, lay it on me.
I'm talking to a friend of mine, and we were just talking about music, and of course, it being one of my favorite subjects, she asked me who I'm listening to, and I tell her, and I said, well, who are you listening to? And she gives me a name, and I'm not going to say the name of the artist, but I go on Spotify, I run to Spotify to listen to it, and I listen to the first 20 seconds, and I said, are you sure this is not AI? And she's like, let me live my dream.
No.
Let me live my dream. Let me live in this. Like, for whatever reason, if that song bonded with you, you bonded with that song. I hear you, but you're not going to see this on vinyl.
Right.
You'll never see this on vinyl. I'm going to let you know that
You'll never
right
see
now.
this artist perform.
You will never see this artist perform. You will get
You'll never make a connection.
No. But, hey, I'm not here to judge you, but you've been bamboozled. But, yeah, I thought that was really, really interesting. And, we have some people that haven't developed the ear yet to detect AI or not. And, there's definitely a sound. There's a clear,
Sure. Yeah,
differentiating factor. Like I hear, like, oh, it's AI. And there's a couple artists of them. There's a couple songs out there that I like. I actually enjoy AI wise. They're like, that's good. That's not bad at all. But it's just good to know what you're getting yourself involved in. You just got to go into that knowing that is what it is.
It is a Twinkie. There is no nutritional value.
Mm-hmm.
You can have it once a year, and then pay the price. But
you're paying the price.
So I want to. That's crazy, and I think it. So there's two things. One, you were talking about her style, and what she was saying is that I think part of the reason we resonate with artists once we find out who they are as humans is there's parts of them that we're like, oh yeah, they're just like me, or I understand that, or whatever. And she said it took me a really long time to find my style because I grew up honestly hating my body, and I'm like, oh my God, who doesn't relate to that?
Sure.
Right? You and I think have talked about it even on the pod. Like we are tall men who were super scrawny back in the day, and so you grow up in this, especially when we were growing up, where it was like everything was over the top machismo. Maybe not all that different now, but and so it was just like, wah, wah. And I think for me, that was a big part of like. It took me a while to figure out my style. Like first I had to grow into my body, then I had to figure out who I was, then I had to figure out like what am I comfortable putting out there in the world to represent who I am. Like it just takes a while. And I she goes on to say, I love the silhouettes from back then. I've grown into myself. I feel a lot more confident. She's looking at people like Nancy Sinatra and Barbra Streisand, people that she admires, and she's like, I love those paper dresses, the little box dresses. And so it's part of that evolution where you're just looking around saying, I don't have to invent anything, but what resonates with me? And I think when you do that as an artist or just as a human, like just go out into the world and what is your authentic self? Because the world needs more of that. Let's lean into that humanness, please.
Yeah. And I think it's gonna be interesting, but I'm looking at pictures of Barbra Streisand now. That was a
right.
sharp
It's a
woman.
vibe.
That woman was sharp. You can't tell me she didn't have style. She had it all, and literally a whole variety of looks, which just keeps it fun. And she had the hats and the different the leggings, the stockings. The hair was just
right.
I mean, she had it all. But one thing I like is that at least, I don't know Miss Streisand, but one thing I could say is that she just seems like a fearless individual, and a woman that's looking to take chances. And I think that is what you have to do in order to really find your style. Like you said, growing up, those of us that like were late bloomers, we didn't hit the height until much later. And it's like, okay, it's hard. I mean, the Gene Styles back in the day, I mean, before the Fab Five, they did their thing with the shorts. the jeans, the type of jeans you can get were lacking. Now you've got so many different styles out there. You really can really kind of narrow down on like what you actually like and what will look good with your body type. But it's so funny now watching Shiv pick his clothes and seeing what he will naturally wear, because it is so much like the style of his father. Like, oh yeah, I'd wear that all day. Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. That's me. I'd wear that. Shoot, I'd wear that now. I'd wear that now. So it's just so, it's just crazy. Just how the style's just, it's very cyclical. It just kind of comes on back.
Sure does. Off the air, we started our conversation and you told a fantastic story, but I think, and what we were talking about is just the power of storytelling. And what Sienna said, I pay homage to the artists that came before me because that's how I learned to sing. There's this famous quote from Sinatra where he said, "A singer to me is somebody who tells a story." And I keep that in mind whenever I'm singing. And I think you can hear that when she's singing. So I think she's even talked about when she's on the road and singing the song every night. At some point, you have to almost disassociate yourself from the song in a way, because otherwise it's just dredging up all of that emotion that, came out when you were doing the song, but you still have to be able to lean into and tell the story in a certain way. And I think that's sometimes an artist, we get into creating the art for our own purposes, our own storytelling, our own cathartic needs or whatever it is. And then when the world latches onto it, I think what they're doing is latching onto that authenticity of that story.
Sure.
But now it's like, ooh, I've got a little bit of a vulnerability hangover, and this is really hard to tell this story repeatedly. So now I have to shift into performing the story so that it doesn't, bring me down every night when I'm performing it or whatever. And I just think that can be a really difficult space for an artist to navigate.
Oh, I would agree. I would agree. I think that smart artists have started either they're really thick-skinned, like a Taylor.
Yeah.
It's very, very thick-skinned, very, very resilient. Olivia Rodrigo, she's just very, very resilient. Just does not
There's just
care.
a strong sense of self, it seems, where it's like,
very,
I
very strong.
can let that bounce off me.
Yeah, you're good, or you take the other route where you're just like, well, I knew a friend who blah, blah, blah. So you just go that, and I guess in a way, I know some people might think, oh, that's being inauthentic because, it was you. It wasn't like your friend. That was you, but at the same time, it was you that did it, but that's such a, by the time that these songs blow up, some of these songs were written, 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. My goodness, you're a totally different person now than you were back then. You're a totally different person, so what does that do? It's almost like, so when you're performing it, you kind of almost have to play the role of that individual. I mean, that's not Toby, that's Tobe. It's a different, that's that.
I mean, lots of artists walk onto stage and adopt a persona because it keeps that tiny little barrier.
Yeah. Keeps a little separation, which is
healthy, I
nice.
think.
Yeah, well, it's, some of the reason why, you got bands out there that wear masks and things of that nature to kind of increase the barrier, increase that distance. Hip hop, they do a really good job, I feel. It just, creating code names, for themselves. Again, just providing the barrier between this and, and real life, which I think is definitely some psychology going on.
Sure.
There's I'm sure we could do some studies on that, but it's so interesting. I guess I can speak about that. Like personally, I would say like when on stage with like E.com and performing as haiku, like like the haiku, quote unquote persona, money was not the goal. Money, it's all about the art. It is all about the core elements and disciplines of hip hop. That's the most important thing. When I'm on stage, it is that. If it ain't hip hop, get it out of here. Let's go. It's all about hip hop. We don't have no time for that. If you can't rhyme, get out of here. Beat it. It's that, you treated the stage like it was a pulpit,
Yeah.
honestly, this is a blessed place. Not anybody can just get on the mic. There were, orders of operations to be able to do that. As soon as you walk off stage, shoot, the show might have been on Thursday. Well, you were kind of ride that high, and there have been occasions where I've actually tried to walk into work, like slightly hungover, not off liquor, but hungover off that
of the
feeling,
vibes, sure,
of that vibe, and just try to walk into work and try to sell a deal. It's like, with varying degrees of success, but that's the important part of code switching, and being able to do that. Like, okay, now let's flip it. Yeah, interesting.
All right, so let's wrap up the Sienna part. The album Visitor is the name of the album. It'll be out by the time you're hearing this episode, so give it a listen. Toby, I failed you on our last episode because we have this part where it's like, what are we listening to? And I had a brain freeze. I just sat there and I stared at you. It was uncomfortable. You were kind to just pretend that the whole screen froze and whatever, but the reality is I failed. So I tried to make it up. I've got several that I want to share with the listeners, if that's okay.
Please take it over. Let's go.
So I think I spammed you with some of these yesterday. So there's a track called With You by I Am Rose, Roze. Love that track. Jungle's got a new album, which I can't wait for the videos to come out. Like, I am ready for it. So that's one. Rye is an artist I've been following for a while, Rhye. He's got a new album out. I just love the vibe on their tracks. And the last one randomly showed up. It's called Saddest Song. It was a Colors version by Indus Blue. And again, and what I love is when you go to Spotify and you're like, hey, they only have 20 or 30,000 monthly listeners for some of these. Some of these are well-known artists, but I don't know. I like finding artists that are kind of there, and I'm like, I really like their work. It kind of feels like discovering stuff back in the day, crate digging and things like that. So
exactly. In fact, Spotify, if you're listening, I think, they do have kind of like, hey, a new artist discovery, but I almost think they need to have like a thing like, hey, 30,000 listens or less.
Yeah.
This is everybody 30.
That's a great idea.
There are a lot of us that are like, these people are bubbling. They just need a little bit of a buzz, a little bit of a pick me up to get them over that hump, authentically and, genuinely, and, for real numbers, not just, whatever. But I would love for them to do something like that, because I think that, it's making music is hard. It's more crowded now than it is ever been.
Breaking through the noise is hard.
Oh my God, it's so great. I'm very thankful for this. Very thankful for the pod. Not only because I get an opportunity to work with my best friend, but the other part is that we get to discover music like together. And there are times where, I'd love getting like musical texts from you, like, oh, okay, let's check this out. Yeah. Let's check this out. Let's go. And I might not be able to get to it like right at that moment, but when I do I generally will always have an emotion behind it. Like, I understand why Joe liked that. That's a hit. Or, I understand why Joe, or I don't understand why Joe liked that.
Right.
We gotta have something to talk
What's
about.
What's he thinking? Yeah.
But it's always fun. But I certainly always look at the number of listens, or monthly listeners that certain artists have. I'm like, and to watch and it's always beautiful to watch them, like say at the beginning of the month, and then like 2 months later, and it's like, they got it. Not like they have, not that they got paid, $10 for every listen, This is certainly not getting paid that, but hopefully more listens, more attention will lead to more of a demand.
More demand, more touring, more opportunities.
More opportunities to actually perform, in front of people, and perform live. That's a beautiful thing.
All right. So what are you listening to? I know you said Jackie Evans.
Jackie Evans is pretty much it. I haven't, it's been hard to listen to anything else. Honestly, she's kind of, at least for the time being, replaced Olivia Dean in the playlist.
It's your new soundtrack. I feel like we get into these patterns. We're like, this is my landing spot for a while.
Yeah. I was listening to Olivia Dean's, she has a live album that she did. And there's a song on there, Be My Own Boyfriend, which is just like stupid good. There's this effect that she has where she's singing and it's a little bit delayed, but it sounds like the crowd is singing with her.
Oh, got it.
Okay. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it is beautiful to use because it's not distracting from what Olivia is doing. It's subtle and it's in the background, but it sounds like the whole crowd knows every word of it, subtly in low and in key, right? And on tempo jack.
On tempo jack. Yeah.
Man, I love it. And of course, I just like hearing all of the, like you said, the mistakes and the authenticity. The one person we forgot to mention about this, I think it's important because, we've talked a lot about British acts and we've talked about just certain types of acts. But I do want to mention that there's an album that is really good that I have not talked about enough. And that is Ella Langley's Dandelion album is really good. And again, it's
good songwriting.
Great songwriting.
Yeah.
She's got a fantastic voice. And she's another one, as she's mentioned in her, stuff, say, look, you're going to hear mistakes. You're going to might hear a little flat, a little sharp, but it is what it is. What I'm saying? In the words of Ray Charles, let it do what it do, and that's what we're going to do. And I love it.
Yeah,
and it is there are certain songs that start off with just her and a guitar or her and just piano, whatever, and they get bigger because you put an orchestra behind it. I'm like, girl, go ahead and do that. It's a good album. So I've been listening to that as well.
Nice. All right. Well, listeners, if there are specific artists in that 30,000 Spotify range that we should be checking out, let us know on the socials. So, Toby, tell them how to do that and get us on out of here.
All right. But you can find us on Facebook, Riffs on Riffs. That's the page. Yes, you can subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe, like all the things on our YouTube channel. Again, Riffs on Riffs. And of course you can go to the website, which is just riffsonriffs.com. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. But let us know, keep us in mind, and do us a favor, share your podcast, your favorite podcast, which we're hoping and assuming that is us, with your friends and your neighbors. All right. Certainly helps. Leave a review for us. Helps us out with the algorithm. And with that, we say peace. Keep listening. Huzzah.